Hi there and welcome to this YouTube jazz guitar lesson. In this lesson I've got a really cool melodic embellishment that you can use to create solo lines, or you can use when you're playing a melody just to kind of add some spice and add some interest, and kind of avoid playing a melody in what you sometimes hear as being referred to as real book rhythms, meaning that you're just playing it kind of like as if you're reading it from the real book with no kind of interpretation. So this line, or this embellishment, I'm going to kind of show you how it works and how you can kind of use it over a few different tunes. So you just didn't play it in the beginning there as demonstrating it over a few different standards like Black Orpheus, The Days of Wine and Roses, and Nika's Dream. There's many more that you can obviously apply this concept to, and I also kind of made a little line using this little cool melodic embellishment as well. So basically, all it sounds like if I just do it on, say, a C note, kind of just sounds like this. So not much by itself, but when it goes to another note after that, it just sounds really nice, and it's better than just going kind of like. It just decorates it a little bit. I have a lot of students who ask me, how do I decorate a melody? How do I make it sound, a little bit more less predictable? And this is just kind of a cool way which you can do it. So basically, all you have to do is the note that you are starting your line or your melody on. Say like we start, a melody on C, like on The Days of Wine and Roses. Basically, before you play the C, after you play the C, you go a half step above. So this would be the 6th fret of the G string, a C sharp note, and you basically do a C and a C sharp, and then you slide back to a B, and then you go back to a C again, and that's where it is. If I just do it slowly, C, C sharp, C, B, C, and it'll always sound kind of incomplete unless you add a few notes above it or something like that. So that's why it sounds fine if you hear it in content like in The Days of Wine and Roses, or if you play it on A Day in the Life of a Fool. It's a very subtle thing, but it's just better than going. So you can hear there's a bit of a difference there. So you can basically use it on melodies which have I like to use it on melodies which have some kind of an interval jump. That's why I picked these particular standards. So The Days of Wine and Roses, you've got a C to an A, that's a 6, so that works pretty well. Where Black Orpheus, goes from an E to a C, so that's a flat 6. So it works well there. Again, I'm doing all the same thing, I'm just starting, obviously on a different note. What else did I do? I did it on Nika's Dream. Starting on an F, that note, so I just did the same thing. And then I think the other song, you can do it on basically any tune which has an interval which goes up, so maybe something like Alone Together as well, which it would normally be. So you could maybe do that kind of thing, and you can even make a line out of it, as I kind of did in the beginning of the lesson, where I would just starting on a C and doing that little technique. So then I did it on a C, did the little melodic embellishment, and then I went to a G note, 8th fret of the B, then I went to an F note, then an E note as well. And obviously, there's a ton of variations you can do. It can start a line as well. So there it is. It's just a very kind of quick, short idea, but I find it just makes kind of a big difference. It's such a small thing, and it's something that I like to employ when I'm playing melodies. Obviously, I'm kind of, cautious if I use it. I don't use it, at every given point. I'm just, stringing a bunch of examples together this one lesson to kind of show how you would kind of, use this, over a period of tunes. But maybe I might probably just use it once at one point in one tune. I won't use it all the time. But I've just found it's a nice basis for giving a rhythmic kind of creativity to, the themes which I play, and also to the lines which I play. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope that you find it useful. If you did enjoy this lesson, I'd really appreciate it if you could click the like button below this video to help support the channel, and also really appreciate if you could subscribe to this channel as well, so that way you'll get free access to all the brand new jazz and blues guitar lessons which I post. So thank you for checking this lesson out. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.